Thank you for being here. So I'm Lieutenant Chris Wilbur with the Cannon Beach Police Department. This is Officer Jenny Thompson with the Cannon Beach Police Department. Both Jenny and I do criminal investigations for the Cannon Beach Police Department. That involve person crimes, financial crimes, all come to us if they're significant. So, and we were asked to do a presentation for the community, so we're more than happy to help. So today is going to be about fraud, and specifically just some things that you can do to protect yourself and to make yourselves aware of fraud and how to identify it. There's a lot of specific scams out there. There's way too many to go over individually, specifically, but at the end, if you guys have questions about something specific, we'd be more than happy to answer them. So, and kind of thought a lot about how to put all of this together, and just kind of started thinking, well, we'll kind of go through like 4 signs that it's a scam and how to avoid scams. There's some pretty basic rules that will keep you safe and keep you from getting involved in these type things. It's prolific. It happens to everybody, not just gullible people. They are very sophisticated, and they seem very legit at times. And there's a couple of key points that today, if everybody leaves with this one key point, I'll be more than happy, because I think that'll protect you more than anything. So, first thing, become educated. And you're here today, and that's the first step. And these are going to be on Facebook.
Right. We'll have
Right.
in there.
And so one of the links that I put in here is OregonConsumer.gov. There's a lot of information out there on consumer protection in general, and you can visit OregonConsumer.gov to learn to be safe, responsible online. They go into a lot of specific information there. And if you need these, we can get them to you. But like I said, they'll be online at the library website, so you can go back and look at the slides. And so this is an audio clip that I'm going to play for you. I got this audio clip. I got this phone call. I had my ear pods in, and I was out mowing my grass when I got this call. So go ahead. So I called myself, I don't remember.
That was an actual complaint that we got. Somebody was posing as Lieutenant Wilbur and called somebody in the community, and they reported it. That's how we got.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is a fraud that's very prolific, especially, early this fall. It was really going around where you're getting, the scammers will go on to police websites. We post our names because we're transparent with our community. We want you to know how to contact us. And so they can see there's Lieutenant Chris Wilbur. They'll call, they'll say that you have a warrant, and you can either go turn yourself in, or we can clear this up if you make a payment today.
Oh, geez.
And people do make payments. We've had people in the community make payments. So it's, yeah.
That pays your mortgage then.
Yeah.
We investigated it.
And you're
So that's Sergeant Pew Pew with the Cannon Beach Police.
Now,
I gave her a promotion.
employee of the year.
Employee of the year. She's been employee of the month for the last 2 years. So I do have favorites. Yeah, but she's our department cat. Join the Scam Alert Network. You can sign up again at OregonConsumer.gov, and you'll receive emails and messages when there's new scams that come out and tell you about them, so you can be aware of them. So 4 signs that it's a scam. Number 1, scammers pretend to be from an organization that you know, local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, Federal Trade Commission, Social Security, Medicare,
Your financial institution.
yeah. They're very sophisticated when it comes to technology. They can make it look like you're getting a phone call or an email or a message from a legitimate source. So it gets to be a little bit tricky discerning if this is real or legit, but there's a couple of things that follow that'll kind of help you identify whether it's real or legit. One thing I always do is when I get one of these emails, I look up at the top the address that it's from. You know, if it's from the FTC, it's going to say from ftc.gov, not Sally C. Sarah at google.org.
Right.
So that's kind of one way to identify it. You know, the other thing is when you get one of these, you can always go back out of the browser, go back in and look, do a search for the FTC or the Social Security Administration. Look and see if those email addresses and the numbers and everything match up.
The one thing I would say though is we've had some Apple scams and somebody had gone in and Googled Apple support. And unfortunately, that website was a scam website and they called. So just be aware that that can happen too.
Scammers will usually say there's a problem or a prize. So they're your first 2 red flags. They might gonna say that you're in trouble with the government, you owe money, or someone in your family is having an emergency, or there's a virus on your computer. So remember those things. You know, the law enforcement one where they say you have a warrant, you know, send us money, and we'll take care of it. Yeah, law enforcement will never call you and, you know, you can't make a
Show
payment,
up at the door.
you know, yeah.
Would you already be aware that you had a warrant?
Well, chances are you'd know that you did something significant enough that you're gonna, you know, people just don't get warrants for no reason.
I haven't been in trouble since 1977.
1977, well, it depends on when the statute of limitations expires.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. If you're standing right there in front of us, we can run you. And we'll know if you have a warrant or not. So come into the police department and talk to us. But like I said, a person knows that they've had a warrant because they've done something bad. I mean, warrants just don't happen through general misunderstandings. We have gotten a few of, matter of fact, didn't your family just get one with your dad?
Yeah, they're using AI they'll grab like a digital like snippet of somebody's voice, like your grandchild or your son or your daughter, and they will use that. And they'll call you saying, I need money, but it sounds just, my dad got one from my nephew. It's supposed to be my nephew saying he needed money, and it sounded just like my nephew. Thankfully, he didn't fall for it. He hung up and said he didn't have any money. Which, he started thinking maybe I should call. I'm worried. So of course my nephew was at work and was in no means needing money for arrest. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so they will use a family member's voice.
Or that there's a virus on your computer. Tech companies, go ahead.
Where did they get your voice?
If you're going to put a lot of stuff out on social media, kids create TikTok videos of themselves dancing, talking. It's everywhere.
Kids film themselves doing anything. So they'll use TikTok, Instagram, any of their videos to just grab that voice.
And a little bit of snooping around online, and it's not hard to put it all together enough to get someone's phone number to call your grandparent and say you need money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A virus on your computer, you know, never let someone have remote access to your computer. They'll call and say they're from Microsoft support. There's a virus. They're going to make it sound urgent, and that if they get in there, and if you grant them permission, they're going to go in there, then you're going to start seeing all the information on your computer start downloading. So you'll get phone calls that say there's a problem with one of your accounts and that you need to verify some information. Because of scams, your bank will not ask you for your they will not call and ask you for your personal information. So do not give it. When you get these phone calls, just hang up. Others will lie and say that you won money in lottery or sweepstakes, but you have to pay a fee to get it. I can remember one lady who was inside the police department, and she had this $50,000 notification in her hand, and her family made her come in and talk to us, but she was dead convinced, and she would have done exactly what they wanted right then and there. She, I just, kind of the adages we all grew up with were valuable things. Even though when we were kids, we didn't listen to them. When your parents told you if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So it's just, we all learn from those things. So next slide. Scammers will pressure you to act immediately. They're going to create urgency. They're going to create fear. And they're good at it. They want you to do something before you have time to think, before you have time to call and talk to somebody to run it by them. They'll tell you not to hang up. They'll want to keep you on the line. We had one employee from a business who kept this guy on the phone while she drove up to Safeway, took money out of the accounts, then drove to the Dollar General, took money out of the accounts. And this person was telling her right over the phone. She was young. She was scared. They convinced her of a lot of different things. They even got her to get her fellow employees debit card and withdraw the money from it, then go buy gift cards.
She actually took the money from the business. The scammer was able to use her boss's phone number, and so when she called, it came up as the boss, and so she believed this person on the phone was either cooperating with her boss or doing what her boss asked. And so yes, she took the cash in the back room and kept on the phone the whole time, went to 3 different places, got the coworker's debit card, withdrew money from her account, and gave it all to and then came back and didn't even realize that maybe it sounded a bit odd until the coworkers were panicked because she was missing. So she really believed that her boss was asking her to do this.
Because we got the call that this person had gone to meet somebody to give them the money, and now she was missing. So then the whole thing was so unbelievable that she'd do this. We thought that she might have been behind it. And
It turns out they had also done it in Manzanita. So
yeah. So next slide, please. This is the other thing. Scammers will tell you to pay in a specific way. They'll want you to wire money. They'll want you to use cryptocurrency, MoneyGram, Western Union. The other thing we see people go out and buy, what was it, $30,000?
in the Apple card,
Yeah,
Apple gift card.
this young woman's
Visa.
savings $30,000 in gift cards, and she read the numbers to them, which is law enforcement we can't trace it. That's why they do it. A lot of these are originating overseas, so it even makes it harder for us to achieve any type of prosecution on these people.
The young girl that took the money, I was able to trace one of the gift cards all the way back, and it was to a male incarcerated in Alabama at the time. He must have had a cell phone in the prison and was able to.
So when Jenny called the Department of Corrections investigator, Jenny was like, well, there's no way this guy could be doing this from inside prison. And this guy just started laughing.
Is it possible
Yes,
that
there
he had it on
was.
a phone? And he said, oh, 100%. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, and you know, where they'll send you a check that's going to be fake and tell you to deposit it, then send them the money. Next. So how to avoid a scam? Block unwanted calls and text messages. If you're suspicious it's a scam, just hang up. Don't listen to them. Don't give them time to make you worried, to make you scared, to kind of induce that feeling of urgency. Keep the security software on your computer up to date. You know, with Microsoft, do recent updates. With Apple, same thing, your phone, do the software updates. Nowadays, it's pretty much just built in, and that'll help protect you. So don't give your personal or financial information in a response that you didn't expect. Honest organizations, your bank, your insurance company, all those places won't call and ask you for personal information. It's against, you know, they suffer the abuses of fraud financially, so they're not going to do things like that. Especially things, Social Security, bank account, credit card numbers, you know, even with just a Social Security number. Man, when COVID was going on and there were all those business loans and stuff like that, there was a lot of fraud, where people getting these loans using someone else's information. If you get an email from a legitimate company you do business with and you think it's real, don't click on the links associated with it. You know, I get them all the time from UPS that I've got a parcel that needs to be delivered.
Yeah. I get those too. Yeah.
You know, click on this link. I mean, anymore, I just kind of ignore them. Yeah, don't look up the phone number, don't call a number, or look up the phone number, but don't call the number they provide you. And like Jenny was talking about earlier, be suspicious when you go in and look up Apple support and click on a link. Just really be aware there are fake links out there that will take you to sites that are scam sites. So, and again, like I said earlier, this is the most important thing we want you to learn today. Resist the pressure to act immediately. Honest businesses will give you a time to make a decision. Anyone who pressures you to pay them or give you personal information is a scammer, and they will scare you. About a month ago, we had a lady from the community inside the police department, and she was absolutely convinced she was going to jail, and she was terrified. And it was where she got a call from a local police department, the sheriff's department, saying that she didn't appear for federal grand jury, and that the judge had issued a warrant for her arrest. And, you know, even with her standing there in front of me, I had Sylvia Runner, you know, she was fine, even though I knew it was a scam, just to hold that piece of paper in front of her and said, you know, look, you're cleared, no active warrants. And she still, oh no, the man, I mean, these people, they're really nasty. And if, you know, when you do something like this to an older person, you really should be caned. Probably shouldn't say that, but it's just that offensive and it bothers us a lot. But
I had one, she thankfully took a minute and reported it. She was also going to jail. So I ran her before and knew she didn't have a warrant, went over, and he was still trying to communicate with her. And so I said, "Do you mind if I be your daughter for a minute?" And she said, "Sure." So I got to talk to him. And of course, he didn't want anything to do with me, he wanted her. And so it got to the point where I was going to have to give him information. I finally said, "I'm a police officer, City of Cannon Beach." And he doubled down and said my sheriff was going to come arrest me. Because I didn't. And I said,
And you were chuckling.
I said, what's my sheriff's name? He couldn't give me the sheriff's name. He didn't know what county I was in. I said, well, I look forward to talking with my sheriff. Gave him my name, my DPSST number, and I never got a call back. But they even doubled down when it's us on the phone.
Wow.
So
Looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
So how to avoid a scam? Stop and talk to someone you can trust. Before you do anything else, tell someone. These people will tell you not to discuss it. So talk to a friend, a family member. Talking about it, talking through it can help you realize it's a scam. Scammers will tell you it's a secret and not to talk to anyone. Again, we are your police department. We are your community. Come in, talk to us. That's what we're there for. We will stop what we are doing and help you. And we will work through this and figure it out. That's what we're there for.
I would much rather have somebody come in and report it, and it turns out I'm talking to US Bank legitimately, than to not report it and then lose thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So
Yeah, because we had another recent one we had. A woman got a phone call here in the community that problem with her computer. She gave them access to the computer. They went in, got financial records, bank records. They did it under the guise that it was US Bank. So listening to the guy, the woman went to US Bank, withdrew the money that she needed. They sent a mule, which is a courier. Sometimes these guys know what's going on, sometimes they don't. Actually came to her house. They told her not to tell anyone. And she gave the mule the money. So then the guy called back, said that she needed to go up to her other account. There was a problem with it and draw the other money. Fortunately, this time, the person at the bank got a hold of us, and we were able to prevent her from taking that amount of money and yeah, making a deposit. So, or giving the money to the mule rather. We tried to catch this person, but they were probably doing surveillance on the house. And even though we were sitting inside hoping this mule would show up to collect the money, they never came by. So
How did they find out where she lived?
she told them, because that's where they arranged for them to pick up the money first time. So
because checks, a lot of they're phasing out, but anybody that still hands write a check. I have one currently where she didn't really take good care of a checkbook, and it's unclear whether somebody stole the checkbook or she wrote somebody a check, because your routing number and your bank account information is on the bottom of that check. Then ordered checks and have them sent to Florida. So she's, I think we're around like $20,000 before it was caught. So keep track of your bank accounts, make sure on your statements that those checks are actually, because she didn't even catch it, her family member did. So if you're still handwriting checks, just be aware that that is also another type of scam.
understand that wiring money is like sending cash. That's why they want you to do it, because it makes it about impossible to track, and it makes it available internationally almost immediately. So if you're on the East Coast or if you're in another country, that money's there and we really can't trace where it ended up. Um, so we have had, there was one scam where this job that was too good to be true and they had to make deposits to get the job. If they insist on any type of wire transfers, again, if someone claims to be a relative and they're in trouble, but wants you to keep it from the rest of the family. And just remember, no gift card. If someone says gift card, Google card, anything like that, read me the numbers, it's a scam. So, yeah.
What's Venmo?
Venmo is an app on your phone. So it's with family, friends, anyone can set up an account. I mean, we use it. So Jenny goes down to the coffee shop and buys everyone coffee, then comes back up, and on Venmo, I just click on Jenny's account and send Jenny $5 for the coffee.
Is it a wire transfer, money transfer? Is that-
It's a money transfer.
Money
Yeah,
transfer?
it's an app. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Colorado. Colorado.
Definitely not here.
Hooray.
some contact numbers. If you think you've been a victim of fraud, call the Oregon Department of Justice, and there's a number. You can request the complaint form be mailed, or you can do it right online. Call us and we can take a police report and kind of look into it investigatively. I will say that as far as investigations go, these things, as far as prosecution, it's very difficult. The federal law enforcement agencies, they have a reporting system too, where people can go online and report a certain type of scam. And if they get enough that it's a significant enough crime that it's so prolific and it's something they can investigate, then maybe they will. But like I said, as far as prosecution with these type things, there's not a whole lot that we can do. So the best thing is just to be safe right from the very beginning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so regarding Venmo, I got an email. And I did everything I'm supposed to do, did not open it and do anything. They want to send me $14.81. And that's one of those things that I know scammers will do. You'll send them your important stuff. So I didn't delete it because I knew I was coming here. And I thought, and when I went up to see the address, it looked official. It said
It looks
Venmo,
official.
it said from Venmo@Venmo.com. So that's the first time I've ever seen something that looks official. And I just thought, interesting.
All right.
If it's not a trusted person that you know, I would not accept anybody.
It just, a Venmo administrator.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
then
thought-
absolutely not. I mean, you're gonna know somebody, hey, I owe you $14.
Yeah.
What's your Venmo? That's usually,
Yeah,
or
that's
you've
why
already sent
that I
it to
share
them.
that because this is, when you asked about Venmo, this is the newest one I've received lately. So,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Why don't you give me the $14?
Make
it simple.
What receiving emails, if you're receiving an email from a government agency, and if it does not say .org, you're in trouble.
Yeah, .org.
I've got
.gov.
.com. And also, it's a bank or even the service, they'll put an extra letter in. If I'm receiving UPS, it could be USPS-A or something. And we got that real fast, and we click on it.
Just a little.
And those letterheads, the banker, US Bank is really, they can copy that so fast because the bank. Sharon and I had a person that bought an item from a store. And these people knew the owner of the store and they called up impersonating the owner and they had never met before. They bought online. We need a down payment before we deliver this. And we're talking about 4 or 5 figure numbers. And then they went back to the owner and he says, what did I do? So in a hurry, anything that's misrepresented on email, we don't get as much phone, but people spell a different word. Post office is a big one. I got one from a pharmaceutical company sent to me asking me for more information about my prescription account and all through like that. I said, they're really weird. So I stopped and called, and it's the big express company. And they said, we will never send out a message to asking you if we want something, we'll call you.
Yeah.
But they were coming, in order to keep my insurance going, I had to fill out this form.
Right.
So
And there's that
there's so much stuff that's so real.
fear, sense of urgency that they're gonna try and
I mean,
work on.
there's emails that, for businesses, that it's like the finance area will get it, hey, this is Jenny, I changed my direct deposit to this account, will you switch it for me with a check? It's not Jenny, it's a scammer, and they're taking my check and putting it, so that's happened elsewhere too, other businesses, they're taking my check and putting it into the scammer's account. And now I don't have a paycheck, so they do that too.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any estimate as to how many people are involved in these criminal activities in this country?
No,
Do you have a
it's
guess?
it's prolific.
You get hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. And yeah, and overseas, I mean, a lot of these originate overseas.
In fact, there's a guy that does scam videos, and he's a hacker. And he goes in and he hacks them and gets into their system and then watches through their security system as they're trying to scam him. And he's messing with it. There are YouTube videos of him doing it. It's actually pretty funny. I
Oh, I
find it
like
entertaining.
that.
But they're all overseas. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years, oh, I'm sorry, she's. No,
I think she was just scratch her face.
oh, I thought she was talking, but, 2 years ago, at a very vulnerable point, I mean, like within 24 hours of just having taken a really bad fall, and just coming home from the hospital with 33 stitches running up my face and the top of my head, I got this text message that was just so urgent, and it was that I don't even remember all of it. I truly don't. It's only been 2 years, and I still, I don't remember all the details because so much happened. But I remember it was so urgent that I called this, it was like you said the term, it was, it was one of those things where you need to report something right now. You need help right now. And so I called it, and they did all the things that you've talked about, the fear and the urgency. You have to do something now. And I told them, I am not in a good place. I just got home from the hospital. No, it has to be done now. Your account is being compromised. Well, it was Amazon account. And I'm not like, I hear these stories of the $20,000 and $30,000, and I feel silly even talking about this because I live on just shy of $1,000 a month Social Security. This wasn't like a big, whopping account, but to me it was everything. It was everything I had, and they were telling me that I have to do this, and that was the first time I'd ever heard the word Venmo. They were asking me if I had Venmo, and I didn't even know what the heck they were talking about. And they were telling me all these things I needed to do. And they had me bring up my account on my laptop. And while they did that, they were able to access my account. I allowed that without really even, knowing what I was doing. And while I had that account up, next thing I know, there's these Amazon game cards, $50 each, one right after another being purchased, one just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop it. And the next thing I know, I'm not making any sound. I'm just sitting there staring horrifically at my laptop screen. And the guy, I hear this voice through my phone say, "Ma'am, what happened to your face? Please stop crying. We're almost done here."
Yeah.
He was looking at me through my laptop,
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
and I couldn't.
Did you
I
read?
still don't know how did he do that? I still have, I cannot, 2 years later, my laptop camera is still covered. I can't uncover it.
Yeah. So
How did they do that?
you gave them access to your computer?
Yeah.
So they have access
you
to
go.
your camera, your microphone,
everything.
I felt, I mean, I live alone and I was not alone. And I suffered from trauma from childhood and that was one of the scariest things I've ever been through. I was not alone in my house.
Did you report it to us?
Yeah,
Okay.
and Wells Fargo backed me up a lot. They helped me, but ever since then, my people have tried to access my account. I've had to change my account twice now since then, but it's so easy. They just scare you and they walk
Yeah.
you through stuff so fast
Yeah.
that you feel like you're being hurted almost, you know. It's just,
And that's how it happens.
oh, it's awful. It was
Yeah.
just awful.
So good points. Just that fear and that urgency, stop, give us a call.
Mhm.
That's what we're there.
Hang up
for.
on them.
Thing of here, well, not everybody using Bimbo, but a lot of restaurants and Bimbos are pushing that, you know, we went to one, we only won one check or one, so we, you know, I don't have Bimbo, so I knew they got pushed, I wrote it. But a lot of places are starting to use Bimbo, so we gotta be more aware. We should know everybody in that room, who we are, because Bimbo is, they're
Yeah.
requesting, so somebody could request a Bimbo from certain
And
restaurants.
just make sure that you know who,
You gotta know who you're sitting there.
Yeah. well, who you're sending
I
it to
took
or
I don't
who's sending
know.
you.
I'm not doing that.
And that's the scary thing
You
is.
just bought me lunch.
we're going- That's where we're
Thank you,
going. for
thank you
words,
for the
is
lunch,
like,
but I'm not paying.
Yeah. Debit cards, credit cards, those are gonna become obsolete. Checking accounts are already, or handwritten checks are already falling away. Going to go to all digital, which unfortunately makes it difficult for us even more.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I remember, and this has been quite a while ago, 10 years ago when I was in the office. And somebody came up on the screen screaming at me, you know, you just don't turn the computer off, and call this number. Well, at least I had presence of mind just to turn the computer off, when I knew. And since then, my neighbor across the street, she had that, and I says, well, what did you do? She said, well, I called the number, and I said, immediately call the police and call your bank accounts and everything and tell them what's happened. I says, because that's, it's kind of alarming. They're screaming at you on the screen, just absolutely screaming at you. Don't turn this off and tell you all kinds of things that are wrong. So,
Like virus,
pardon?
like a virus.
Yeah, it's a virus.
Oh,
But they scream at you and make you think that it's vital. I just turned something else.
So in the beginning, you said, report anything significant to us. Do you have like a cap on that, or what does that mean?
Report anything and everything. I mean, there's no, that's too much. I don't care if it's $10 or $50,000. I mean, we want to know if somebody in our community is being taken advantage of, and we will research it to the best. I mean, like I said, I followed one all the way to Alabama, and that was like $150. So I don't care. I don't like scammers. If I can get any amount of justice for anybody, I don't care how much it is. And it's a computer crime. It could be identity theft. I mean, there are much bigger charges that go along with it. So there is no minimum in my mind.
When you get an email from somebody, isn't it a secure website? Doesn't it have to have the HTTPS?
Email
At the
address,
beginning of
yes.
the-
It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be a URL.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't have an instant. That's a website.
Not for an email.
Well, maybe I need something else.
it's more about .com, .org, .gov, isn't it?
Yeah.
.com, .org, .gov. Isn't that it more?
Website then.
What's
For
it look like?
website.
for web addresses and for email addresses.
Another big one is the DMV too, because the DMV is going more digital. So
But yeah, hackers can impersonate email addresses and make an email look like it comes from another place. And then sometimes for those links as well, on your screen, it may say HTTPS, but when you actually click through, it could go to a different address. So understanding what's the actual URL behind whatever is clickable can be fraud as well.
If I can add, you can get some emails that look legit.
back in October, I got an email from Costco, not Costco, but Costco, saying that my membership had expired and I clicked this link to go and renew. And I, started scratching my head, well, yeah, my credit card that I was using when I joined expired during that year. Just timing. So that's odd, but got to thinking, my membership doesn't end now, it ends in 2025. So I went to Costco because I took my time about it. It looked official, get all the emails from Costco about this sale and that sale, and all the right stuff. But yeah, go in there and, oh no, your membership doesn't renew until next year. That's fraud.
Right.
So,
Was the tea missing out of Costco?
yes.
Yeah.
But, but that is one of their divisions. So, again, somebody, it can look official, but take your time. Think about it before you click. Because it's easy to click.
I just got yesterday from Costco about mine that expired, you need to come in to renew it. I did, I went and pulled out my card, it's not due for June of 25.
Same.
So I didn't even know if I just looked at that thing, and I went and got my card and I would release that. But it does look like it, then you think, well, God, yeah, you don't want to miss out on that buy from Costco. You want to buy that 30 pounds of. You can't do without it.
I love all the progress that we make, but with AI added to the mix, it's getting harder and harder to know what to trust. It just really is. And a lot of places, even like Pacific Power now, we can't pay our bill through Pacific Power. If you want to do it on the phone or something, you go through another company. Everything is like somebody else or something else, and it's just so hard to try to know what to trust.
Yeah, Jim.
When you delete, is it better to delete or put it in junk?
Just delete. Yeah.
Delete.
Or put it in junk mail. That way that you probably won't hopefully get any more from them, but
Okay.
maybe not.
Two things. If it doesn't have a subject title, don't open it.
Right.
And if you put it in delete, you have to delete your deletes, or they're still out there floating around.
So maybe it is better to do it in junk.
Double delete.
Yeah, you can put it in the junk.
Well, you made a really good point earlier about the text messages. Most businesses and organizations do not text you. There may be some emails, but text messages are really best not to be opened at all. Just delete it.
Although you do have to watch because there are companies that will say, we'll give you this offer if you'll allow us to text message you our sale.
That's right.
Nobody gives me that.
So, yeah. I would say for me, the biggest thing is even if, because there's a lot of embarrassment that comes with it. If you do fall for a scam, I don't want to say fall for, but you get involved in a scam, there's a lot of embarrassment that some people will not report because they're embarrassed that they gave away their money. Don't be embarrassed. I mean, they are good and they're good at what they do. And there's no judgment from the police department. We're here to help. So you, your friends, anybody, if it does happen, don't hesitate to come in.
I was mortified by what I did, and I don't think I really realized how far down the rabbit hole I had fallen until they told me when they asked me about Venmo to not talk to any of the bankers. That's when I, all of a sudden, I think the tears just flew down my cheeks. Well, don't talk to the bankers.
Yeah.
They don't want to be reported.
And
And I
even the
just-
bankers are your friends too. I know I just spoke with Ashley of US Bank. She was very helpful in one that I'm doing right now. And I know she's probably caught hundreds of scams that she stopped them before they even started because she was able to stop them from withdrawing money or depositing money. So even if you don't want to talk to the police, but you're not sure, branch manager, banker would also be another one that would probably be some good advice if you're really not sure and you're about to withdraw money. So
And just so you know, that trouble in 77 involved a 68 Camaro.
Come clean now, come clean.
It wasn't anything really bad.
Is there a statute of limitations on reporting fraud to the Department of Justice?
No, I mean, there's statutes of limitations on crimes, like financial crimes and all of that, but just making a report so they have that information. A lot of this is done for tracking purposes to kind of be able to educate people because, you know, they'll look at it and the DOJ has analysts that kind of compile all this stuff and put together intelligence bulletins, and that'll all be part of that. And it just kind of identifies patterns that help investigators that this is kind of going on at this point in time in this part of the state. And this is what the scam is, and this is how they're doing it. So if anything, it goes into that intelligence for criminal activity. So it's a good thing.
I have an odd thing that's not money related that I'm aware of, but that's just happened to me 2 times recently where I've been on my text messages and it's phone numbers come up, like 3 or 4 phone numbers, sort of as if it were a message or something. It's no name, no number. I don't open it. But like 4 numbers that use my phone numbers from another area. So that use that area code. And it's like, so I'll make me fall into that. They're from Spokane where I used to live, you know, but I don't open it, but then I get rid of it. And I'm thinking, am I doing the right thing? I just
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and that's why they
should I
call
do
it
something more.
phishing, because there's just that little piece of bait that they want
So
you
what are
to
they gonna
click
get
on.
out of that?
Yeah.
Even if I opened it, I don't know. if
I
what's
would
the
just,
purpose of it?
because like on an iPhone, I have an iPhone, and you can, like a text message, you could just go delete and report.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try an Android.
I don't know, does
Yeah,
Android have that?
Android does have one. You can,
Okay,
it'll say block and report.
Yeah. So that's probably the best way to handle that.
There's a difference where you get something from a business and you don't want it from, so you want, and tell them, say, I want to unsubscribe. I said, don't do that. When you unsubscribe, they get it back. They've got a live person. And they can either sell that to somebody else or come from somebody else. So you think, well, I want to, so I just keep on, it goes away. But they said, don't, especially when it says your email with unsubscription. So if you get done, so Warren, I just quit unsubscribing, just delete it. Yeah, but that comes back to them and said, maybe they sent out 10,000. Oh my God, we got Graver here. He's unsubscribed, so we got a live body on this email. And that could go to any of their counterparts. And you get it from some other guy, all of a sudden you receive something else.
But if I have actually subscribed to something, and now I want to unsubscribe, and then I wouldn't unsubscribe for something I wasn't already subscribed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're getting something, what, you know, yeah. So I put on, I said, don't be,
Just dump it.
if you don't want to give any more, I say, I don't want the unsubscribe. Well, they've got a live body. So that's kind of, that's a point to think about. Unless you want to use them. I want to subscribe from Playboy.
So you're saying just delete it and not.
No, just delete it because it's on deleted, and maybe after a couple of times they'll eventually, but as long as they got live people, they'll keep sending.
I think this is a really good presentation because it brought out all the things that I've been trying to put together that I've been trying to teach myself over the last couple of years, and it brought them all together in one place. And I appreciated it very much because that fear tactic was really what started me on the phone call. And I resent it. I resent that they use that because I was such an easy target. And a lot of people are so much better at just hanging up and not letting that fear sink in. And the people like me that are so easy, I really resent the fact that there's people out there, and I really am going to look for the guy that scams the scammers on YouTube. That just sounds like so much fun.
It's actually pretty entertaining.
I bet it is.
after investigating them, you get pretty frustrated. And so when I
Yeah.
watch him, it makes me
I'm
laugh
gonna have to
because
check him out.
I get to actually see them.
Yeah, good for you.
My brother, this is 5 years ago. He was with the CIA and he had security run up the yin yang. And so I was at the house that day and he said, I'm gonna be gone. He had to go down and get something to school. And it was gone and gone and gone. And you couldn't imagine what happened. And he had a brand new sports car and it occurred to me, I thought, somebody has accosted him and nothing, and he was dressed very well. Well, it's went on a couple hours. Finally, we went down to this Silverdale, he was in Washington, at the police station. And they took all the information and they didn't say scam. They said, he will eventually come back because there's something wrong with him. Well, we realized that. So we went home, we waited. Finally, here came his car up the driveway. What had happened was they did it to him about the phone call. Now, he had been gone to Europe prior to this happening. And he thought, when I said warrant, he thought, God, he says, maybe I didn't do something in town because he was gone like a month. And he thought, oh, something's wrong. So that's why they said, don't hang up. Well, and he said, that you talk about embarrassment. He was so embarrassed, so ashamed. Here he was with the CIA for years, you know. And so finally, he went in at the end, he went into Wells Fargo to get some money. And the girl, the cashier said, let me get my manager. So she came over and she said, sir, didn't even hesitate. She said, do you have him on the phone? And she could see he had the phone. He says, yeah. She says, hang up. He said, well, she says, hang up. And then she explained to him it was a scam. Well, and then he was highly embarrassed. So he came home and he contacted the police and they came onto the house and talked to him. And he said, I can't tell you how ashamed I am, how embarrassed I am. He said, and the police, she was a policeman. She said, sir, don't feel that way. She says, you wouldn't believe how many millions have done the same thing.
I know the employees at Rite Aid and Safeway and like Dollar General are trained that if they have a customer on the phone and they're trying to do money orders or buy Visa gift cards, that they are not to sell to you because most likely it's a scammer. So they are trained in that too. So there's a little bit more.
Okay. It is embarrassing. I couldn't pay my rent. Thank you.
No.